the inaction and the inability to get a budget done, and the talk by far right-wing Republican legislators about how we didn't even need a budget in this state, had taken Wisconsin to the very edge of a really disastrous situation in which a lot of good people who didn't deserve it were going to be the ones that felt the brunt of that inaction. So you all know labor negotiations, and you all know that you got to hold out and work hard to get the best deal you can. But you also know a good deal shouldn't stand in the way. You shouldn't hold out for a perfect deal when there's a good deal on the table. And we got a good deal in this budget for Wisconsin. This is a budget that moves forward some of the most basic principles and priorities of the AFT Wisconsin and of hard-working middle-class families all across the state of Wisconsin. It is so different than the budgets I had to deal with when I had a completely Republican legislature and they wouldn't even negotiate, they just put the budget on my desk, and thank God I had a veto power that managed to fight off the worst excesses. But in this budget, we have moved forward in many ways. This is a pro-education budget. This budget makes a significant expansion of four-year-old kindergarten in the state, and my goal is to make sure four-year-old kindergarten is available to every family that wants it. After years of fighting, this budget includes a commitment to expanding the school breakfast program in this state. We're proud of a lot of things in Wisconsin, as we should be, but I'll tell you something we should not be proud of. We ranked 50th in the United States in participation in school breakfast. Now, how can that be?
I don't know.
And for years I've been fighting for this. And in this budget, we have the expansion of school breakfast that we're going to push to make available to every child in this state that needs it. And this is a budget that expands opportunities for our youngest children by fully funding the small class size programs in this state, being able to make sure it is maintained and expanded in school districts across Wisconsin. Budget that fully lives up to the state's commitment to fund 2/3 of our K through 12 education in Wisconsin. This budget also is the first major budget that improves higher education accessibility in Wisconsin in over 25 years. First about the University of Wisconsin, and then I have a couple of things to say about the technical college. But in this budget, we make the first significant new investment of public money in our university system in over 12 years. And we over the next 4 years with the budget levels here, we will more than triple our commitment to financial aid in this state. And this budget carries through as well and moves forward the Wisconsin Covenant. This is one of the most basic promises and solemn promises we can make in this state. We are asking 8th grade students. Last spring was the first time and over 17,000 8th grade students signed up. And they sign a pledge, and it's a pretty simple pledge. It's a pledge that if I remember my kids at 8th grade, it's what they understand. Finish high school, maintain a B average, take the courses that you need to go to college, and be a good citizen. But what an 8th grader understands, right? It's not too complicated, but it's incredibly important. And they sign a piece of paper, and I sign the piece of paper where we make promises back to them. And our promise to them is, if they keep that promise, we will guarantee that there will be a place in our university or technical college systems as they choose, and that we will work with each family individually to assure that they have the financial aid that they need to afford that college. Yeah. I see so many great, hard-working students in this state, and you see them every single day. I see young people, 18, 19, 20, 21. I see a little older people, 29, 30, 31, 32. I see a little older people than that, 45, 46, 47. I see them trying to make a better life for themselves. And I see them working 2 and 3 jobs. And I see them taking full courses at our technical colleges and universities. And we're not going to give them something for nothing. They're going to have to keep working hard like that. But at least we're going to help them so they can afford that education. This is the most basic promise we can. And this isn't just about being nice to people. This isn't just about being nice. This is about making sure that we are drawing on the talents of everybody in this state. I don't want any young person in this state thinking that college is just out there for rich people. Oh, I can't get there. Oh, my parents. Now, many of you and many of us come from families where our parents and grandparents and others went to college. They've been talking about higher education since they were 3 years old. But a lot of our kids don't come from those families. They come from really good, hard-working families. And for many of those parents even, they don't know how to help their kids get to college. It seems too complicated to them. They don't know how to do it. The Wisconsin Covenant is going to make sure that every single one of those families and all of those parents that want so much for their children know that you can get there, and that it's pretty simple. Now, it's going to be a lot harder for some students than others, and you all know this. Many of you are teachers in this room. I have 2 sons, and I always embarrass them by saying this, but one of my sons, if I said you had to have a B average, I wouldn't have worried 2 seconds about it. It would have happened, and he'd go off, and he knew how to study, and he knew how to do things, and that was the first son we thought was going to be pretty easy. Well, the second son, and probably you all, maybe many of you have children like this, who is actually smarter than the first son, but getting that B average was a little bit bigger challenge. And he had some learning differences and some different things that he had to overcome, and he had some challenges that he had to work a little harder on. So I understand that saying getting the B average sounds easy to some, and to others it seems like maybe that's an insurmountable goal. But every child can get there if they're ready to work hard and if they have the kinds of teachers that can help them get there as well. We've taken a great step forward here in Wisconsin today to open up and promote accessibility in education for everybody in Wisconsin.